concept of this video is to go over systems of inequalities, specifically two variable systems of inequalities. Now, you have been used to solving systems like linear equations, linear systems, where you would have equal sign in your problems. So today, the lesson that you're doing is you are discovering solutions of inequalities. And really what that means is that you're going to be using these signs, the less than, greater than, or less than equal to, or greater than and equal to. These are the signs that you will see. Solutions are not just points anymore. So like when you were solving problems that just had the equal sign in them, you were just solving points. When we're doing inequalities, we're going to be talking about entire areas of an XY plane. So what I would recommend is to always use Desmos. Desmos is so great at graphing anything, and it can totally help you find your solutions. And I'm actually going to go to Desmos here in a second after we go over a couple more things. So when we graph these inequalities, you're going to see boundary lines. The boundary line is the graph of the linear equation. So you'll see these straight lines. We know straight lines are represented by linear equations. You're going to see these boundary lines, and they're either going to be solid or they're going to be dashed. And what you're going to notice is that the solid lines will use the less than or equal to sign or the greater than and equal to sign, and the dashed line will only use the greater than or less than sign. So you do have to pay attention to that, especially when you're working through your apex class, because if you choose the wrong equation, it'll mark you wrong, and it's usually because of just not paying attention to whether it's greater than or equal to or just greater than. There will be instances where you'll graph two equalities, and I'll go show you this in a second. When you graph two equalities, wherever the shading overlaps, right here, wherever the shading overlaps, that is where you're going to find your solutions. So you're going to notice that you can have more than one. There's going to be a lot of solutions in these equations that you're solving for because a graph covers a large area of space. You will see graphs that look like this really bad drawing that I drew here. But as you can see, if you ever come across a graph that has, here, just let me redraw it because that is a really bad drawing. So if I draw a graph here, this is my pretend plane, and I have a dashed line going this way, and we'll say that this top left quadrant of the graph is shaded in, and then I have my other inequality is down here. The lines don't cross. The shadings do not overlap. So when you see this, when the shading does not overlap and the lines are parallel, this is no solutions. So this is what no solutions will look like. The area that it doesn't, they're not crossing anywhere. But you could have a graph, and I'll give you another example. You could have a graph that looks like this. We have this. We have, I'll do yellow here. Oh no, not yellow. Yellow's hard to see. Let's do blue. So you'll have blue here. And so that means like this whole area is shaded. But then you could have another inequality that the line is here, but the shading overlaps. Those are okay. These lines are still parallel, but because the shading overlaps, that's still where you find the solutions. Here it's different because your shaded parts don't overlap at all. So that means no solution. All right, so I'm going to flip over to Desmos. So these are some of the equations that were given in your 5.4.1 study. I went through and I was looking at some of the stuff that they were having you do. And this is why I like Desmos. I like Desmos because you can click on the little bubbles to the left of the equation, and it'll like shade it for you, and you can unclick it and it will take it off again. So again, if you look at the difference between these two, there's a dotted boundary line here, right? See the boundary line down here. And if you look, I'm going to click on here, that boundary line goes through 2. And if you look at your equation, it's y is greater than x plus 2. So then if we look here at this equation, I don't like that they're both red. Let's go here, x minus 7. And if we turn on our points here, we're going to see that the that b value, that -7, that's where your line crosses through the y-axis. So up here at the plus 2, the line crosses through the y-axis at 2. We could look at this one. Let's turn that one off. Here is y is greater than or equal to x plus 2. So again, the same as that one. You can tell that those two are overlapped and shaded. So anything in that purpley color would be a solution. If I turn those two off, if I do turn this one on, y is less than or equal to x plus 2, we can see that anything in the purple area would be our shaded solutions. If I turn on y equals 2x plus 3, anything over where the two colors overlap, so it kind of makes like that weird purpley orange color, anything in that area would be a solution. Anything in the orange and anything in the purple, though, would not be a solution. Okay? And then the last two here, turn on the x minus 7, y is less than or equal to x minus 7. And then I'll turn on the last one, y is greater than or equal to -2 over 3x plus 4. Turn that one on. So here we have our boundary lines crossing, and they cross here. Anything in this darker green to the right, it's almost like a teal color, any point in that shaded area would be a solution for solving inequalities. All right, so then I kept going through your study guide, the 5.4.1, and really the questions and the help are the practice questions they want you to do is to figure out like where things are graphed or where things are shaded from when you graph these equations. I would just really recommend that you use Desmos for these, especially when you get to like the practice problems. There was one page, I think it was your try the sample quiz questions, and they gave you like choices where you had to show the solution to which system of inequality. And I'm going to erase all these and type in what's on there. So the first one was y is greater than x. The second one was y is less than 2. Y is less than 2. And you had to find the solution area. So you can use Desmos to help you choose which is the correct answer. I think option B was y is greater than x and y is greater than 2 were the next set of points. So again, you had to figure out, figure out where the shaded area was, and you can like zoom in and out of Desmos to help you do that. So that's why I just always think that using Desmos is a great tool, because you can just type those equations in and you can find the solutions for your answers. There's some of your questions where they were giving you points and you had to find, you had to select the points that were a solution to the inequality. Remember, find the points in the overlapping shaded area, and you should be okay answering those. All right, I think that should be enough to get you through the first part. There were some questions about real world farm problems. And as I looked through those, it didn't look like you had to do anything like rewrite equations. They gave you the equation, like practice writing an inequality for this scenario. A class has a limit of 30 students. Select the inequality that represents the number of boys and girls G that can be in the class. So what I would recommend doing is using Desmos and write out each of those equations so you can see, and remember it has a limit of 30 students, so your line can go up to 30 but it can't go over. So you think about that. If you can go up to 30 but you can't go over, what sign would you use? Would you use the greater than sign, the less than sign, the greater than and equal to sign, or the less than or equal to sign if it goes up to just 30 students and it can't go over? So kind of read those that way. I think that was slide 10 that I was looking at, that farm problem. All right, I'm gonna stop there. If you have any questions, let me know, because this video will keep on going on forever if I don't stop. But if you have any other questions as you get through the two variable systems of inequalities, just let me know and I can send you another video. Thanks. Bye-bye.